it's Lindy with a movement improvement series for you. And in this short series, we're going to be talking about the side of the body, or the lateral part of the body. Sometimes we call it the side body. As humans, we tend to think of things like walking and running, especially, as forward back kinds of activities. And certainly when we exercise, we spend a lot of time on the front of the body. We maybe spend a little bit of time on the back of the body, and we don't really spend a whole lot of time on the rotational components of the body or the side body system. So think about, if you like to go to the gym or if you do some sort of exercise, many people focus on the areas of the body that they can see in the mirror, for example, like the six-pack, the front of the chest and shoulders, the biceps, the front of the deltoids, these guys. But that's not really what helps move us forward in the world. What helps us stay forward in a straight line in the world, such as when we're running and walking, is the strength and integrity of the side of a body. So think of the side of your body like the railroad tracks that keep the train moving forward, or, in some cases, maybe keeping the train moving backward. But if you don't have any integrity in these side rails, your train, your body is going to be going all over the place, and you're going to be a lot more vulnerable when somebody bumps you or when you run into something that's a change in terrain when you're walking. So we're going to get to that a little bit more in another video, but for today, what I want you to do is you're just going to use this very simple activity to monitor how well you are activating the side of the body. And we're going to take the place between the pelvis and the lower part of the ribs. So what I'd like you to do is just go to a wall, and you're going to place one hand on the wall, and you're going to do this on each side. I'm just going to show you facing the camera. Depending on how your shoulder is feeling, you might want to take that hand a little bit further forward, because that's a little bit more comfortable for the shoulder. But we want to make sure that you're not rolling your shoulder forward and up to place your hand against the wall. So the hand can be a little bit lower than the shoulder, or it can be shoulder height, again, depending on how you feel. You're standing relatively vertically, and then what you're going to do is you're going to place your opposite hand just right in that space between the ribs and the top of the pelvis. So it's what we would say is the waist. It feels a little soft in there. And all you're going to do is, maintaining your alignment from your head to your feet, you're just going to do a little elbow bend. Think of this like doing a standing side push-up. And as you do this movement, notice if you have activity underneath the fingers of your opposite hand. So what's happening for me is, as I bend and straighten my right arm, which would be your left facing the camera, I'm feeling some activity there in the waist. Now there are a whole bunch of connective tissues that intersect along the side of the body, and I'm not going to name them all, but they're really super important, and ultimately they go all the way up to the arm and down to the feet. But you're just using this little space with your opposite hand just to monitor, are those muscles working? Once you've done that, do the other side, notice if there's any difference. Now, if you find that those muscles are not working, it's often because of an alignment issue. What I'd like you to do is just play around with rotation, play around with where your pelvis is, play around with your rib rotation, come back to this position and see if you get a little bit of a change in the activity underneath your hand. The other thing that might cause this area not to work is that you're tipped too far forward. So if that's the case, make sure that your head is in line with the back of the pelvis and the ribs. How do you know if it is? Stand against the same wall and see if you can feel those places touching the wall. Then turn yourself around and repeat the exercise. Our goal is to get the side of the body active. I'll see you the next time for another movement improvement.